Hey guys, Dynasty Warrior 6 here again with another video response to 49er Nation number 1's question, number 15. Question 15 was, what do you prefer, retro gaming or next gen, or current gen or next gen gaming? Basically the newest and the best versus the oldest and the older. Um, I really had a dilemma because I know I'm a big retro collector and I do buy a lot of retro games, but I am a fan of current gen stuff. Not a lot of it. Not a lot of it. Hear me out. Current gen is good. Okay, this game, Metal Gear Solid 4, thank you Gamer Freak 5150 for the trade. This game is amazingly well written. Amazing. It plays like the old PlayStation version. The graphics are better. And I understand, Metal Gear Solid 1 on PlayStation was a fantastic game for its time. Basically set the stage for every siphon filter, Tom Clancy's games, all those games that involve spies and stuff like that. Splinter Cell, all those guys came after this man right here. This game is well written and everything, and there are a lot of good games that are fairly well written, Star Wars Force Unleashed, Mortal Kombat. Jason loves this one. I know he does. He plays it a lot. Most of the time we either are playing old games or new games, and if Jason's playing a new game, 9 times out of 10, this is the game that's in the system, and this is the game he's playing. And of course, one of my personal current gen, right now, favorite games of all time, possibly, is Dragon Age, Origins, Awakening, and Dragon Age 2, the whole Dragon Age series. But, the question was, what do you prefer? And I do have to say that I'm a retro gamer through and through. I love retro gaming. I do. I can't imagine what my life would be like without gaming. It would probably be pretty sad, to say the very least. But, I looked at it, I weighed the goods, the pros and the cons of the both systems, both gens, and I gotta say retro gaming. My favorite game of all time, ooh, I'm gonna fall over, is Final Fantasy IX. And that's on a retro game, that's on a retro gen now. It's been on a retro gen for the last, what? PlayStation 2 came out in 2001, 2 area, 2003. So, well, maybe it was 2003 or 4. But Final Fantasy IX, Sonic the Hedgehog, 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Sega Saturn games, Sonic 3D Blast, Golden Axe, Sonic CD on Sega CD, N64, Gauntlet Legends, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Super Mario 64, the list goes on, and sadly the list that I have for PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 or Nintendo Wii games is realistically extremely small, comparatively speaking, to the list of favorites or great games that I love in the past. I could go on a list on NES, Nintendo Entertainment System games, and go, Super Mario Bros. 3, 1, Duck Hunt, the classic, all the classics. Tetris, even on Nintendo, was good. Tetris 2 was good. Just just a list right there. Those guys right there, and the list is huge. But then you go, to PS3, and it's like, well, I like Dynasty Warriors 5 and 6, and I like Dragon Age, all that, and God of War, and Star Wars Force Unleashed 1, not 2. And see right there, sequels back then had a lot more going on usually. Like Shining Force 1 was good, Shining Force 2 was really good, right there in that. Final Fantasy 2 and 3, or 5 and 6, whatever you want to call them, on Super Nintendo, both really good. Sonic 1, 2, and 3 were all fantastic sequels. Metal Gear Solid has some really good sequels on it. Sonic had a lot of good sequels, and then let me think. Let's see. Just the Street Fighter Alpha series, the Street Fighter series in general on the Super Nintendo, the Turbo, the Championship Edition on Sega Genesis, the Super Street Fighter 2, all those sequels or spin-offs, whatever you want to call them, they were really good. And see, the sequels on today's consoles, like even Dragon Age 2, let's be realistic here. Dragon Age 2 was not a great sequel. It was okay. It was good, but it was not like what Dragon Age Origins was. And see, that's a problem. When you can't give consumers, a consistently good product, and you have to change it up so dramatically. Back then, they stuck to basics, and basics got the bread and butter done every time. You look at SquareSoft now, and look how sad they are. They can't even. They're telling their employees they can't create any new ideas. So no more Parasite Eves, possibly, just because it's not a strong enough franchise to garner money. They're so focused on money that they can't have. All you can do is focus on Final Fantasy 14, 15, and 16. Okay. But yeah, back to the actual topic though, retro gaming. Retro gaming also for me, nostalgia. My brothers and I would play, heck, me and my roommates right now, we bust out the Super Nintendo occasionally. We'll have tournaments on Paperboy. Who can score the most points on Paperboy? Who can do the most runs through a Paperboy game? And see, you don't do that on you can't really do that on any other like current gen games where you can just do those kind of mindless little things that are just fun and just have a blast at it. And it's kind of sad if you look at what retro gaming is now. And if they do go to digital downloading, I may just I don't know if I'll give up on current gen gaming. I don't know if I'm too far into it because there are some stories that I definitely want to finish, but I might give up on gaming in general. Not gaming in general because I could never give that up, but I might give up on current gen gaming. I might let it go because if that does happen with digital download and that kind of stuff, and with the systems dying, my PS3 just died, surprisingly, not really, but I gotta get a new PS3 now, and it's like you notice that the older stuff has a really hard time of dying or breaking. You literally have to kick the shit out of your system sometimes to make it break. Like a Super Nintendo is like a brick house. But then like a PS2 or a PlayStation 3 or an older 360 has the Red Rings of Death or that. So, I'm not too thrilled on this digital download thing. I'm not too thrilled on a lot of things that might be happening in the next... I could say digital download happening in the next 10 years. I can see that happening in the next 10 years where digital download will be probably mainstream and the hard copy stuff will be gone. And that would be a really, really bad way to see gaming go, is digital download. Because then you can't bring a game over to your friend's house ever again. You can't go, hey, you want to play Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo? You can't do that ever again. You have to lug your system everywhere. Oh, I downloaded da-da-da. But you can't play it, so I got to bring it over to your house. So. But anyways, that's kind of diverging from the topic. But that is my choice. Retro gaming through and through. I do love current gen gaming, but I am more in love with retro gaming. Just because of every memory I have is from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, and 2. Little 2. But that's it. I will say that retro gaming is it for me, and if it does happen, I'll switch completely over to retro gaming if that does happen with other things. But huge shout out to 49ernation1. I know he's going on hiatus for a while. I understand, dude. I totally hear you about, fiance. You gotta take care of, definitely take care of your business. I totally hear you. So good luck. Hope to see you back eventually. I like your comments on my videos. But I like your comments in general. I like looking at all your stuff. So definitely keep it up. With your comments, or if you gotta take a full break, definitely do it, dude. Personal life takes priority over, internet life, internet life. So. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check out 49ernation1's channel. Sub them, subscribe to them, comment them, like them, everything. And I'll see you guys next week.